pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation. All right, welcome. All right. Roll call, please.
Mr. Robinson. Here. Mr. Blaine.
Here.
Mr. Muller.
Here. All right, any motion for the acceptance of the minutes from April 17th, 2024, regular meeting of Board of Trustees? All right, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the April 17th, 2024, regular meeting of Board of Trustees.
Second. Mr. Robinson. Yes. Mr. Blaine.
Yes.
Mr. Muller.
Yeah. A motion for the acceptance of the minutes of May 1st, 2024, the regular meeting of Board of Trustees. A motion for the acceptance of the minutes of May 1st, 2024, regular meeting of Board of Trustees.
I will second. Mr. Robinson. Yes. Mr. Blaine.
Yes.
Mr. Muller.
Yes. A motion for the acceptance of the invoices.
Make a motion that we accept all invoices as provided to the fiscal officer. Yes.
Second.
And Mr. Robinson. Yes. Mr. Blaine.
Yes.
Mr. Muller.
Yes. All right, Sheriff's Department, Sergeant.
Evening. For the month of April, there were 300 runs in Miami Township. 211 were police dispatch detailed. 89 were non-billable. Service exchange. 116 Miami Township cars requested outside of Miami Township. 95%. 21 were disregarded. 161 county car requested into Miami Township. 102 sent, 59 disregarded. There were 13 criminal reports, 3 threats, harassment, 2 thefts, 1 trespassing, 5 domestic violence, 1 assault, 1 stolen vehicle recovered, and 10 non-criminal reports. There were 80 cases, 3 which were medical, 2 property damage, 2 death reports, and 2 that were coded 80 case others. There were, it's like 3 auto crashes for the month, and we already talked about the incident reports as a Any other questions, pressing for him?
All right, any questions for the sergeant? Any questions for the board? All right, thank you.
Yep. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
All right, administrative report.
I'll go through this rather quickly because we have some more important business to attend to next. So, would you like to do this?
How long is your report? I looked at it. We could go, let's just go to the swearing in.
Yeah.
That's good. Most of that, we'll come back to it.
I'm sure everybody is going to stay for everything
So we
afterwards.
got the introduction to training ceremony as a full-time firefighter and I voted the before with the captain.
Good evening. Captain Joe Yanko. I have the pleasure of introducing our newest full-time member, Ben Bossberg. Ben is the son of Ralph and Karen Bossberg. Ben grew up in Mount Airy. He is an Army National Guard veteran, serving from 2015 to 2021. Thank you for serving, Ben. Yes, sir. He completed his basic combat training and his advanced individual training at Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri. After that, he worked various jobs in the construction industry for concrete, HVAC, and he's currently still an electrician. Ben attended the Great Oaks Fire Academy, earning his fire and EMS certifications in December of 2022. While he was at the academy, Ben completed his ride time at Miami Township, and he also attended my study sessions. Better run study sessions. In March of 2023, Ben joined Miami Township Fire Department as a part-time employee. He started paramedic school yesterday. So, family, make sure you give him support through medical school. It's a interesting ride. Ben is joined tonight by his brother and sister, Jacob Bossberg and Mary Bossberg. Trustee Bullrat will be doing his swearing in after that's completed. He will be pinned by his fiancee, Madison Cook. Ben?
I, state your name. Ben Bosworth. Solemnly swear that I will support this office for the Constitution of the United States. Constitution of the United States. Constitution, State of Ohio. Constitution, State of Ohio. That I will faithfully perform. Firefighter, EMT. Firefighter, EMT. Brandon Township Fire Department. In and for the county of Hanover. In and for the state of Ohio. According to the best of my ability. In accordance with the law. All contact. Hereafter, act. Hereafter. Help God.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I was gonna say, if we want to get the Zoom. How do you want it? Thank you. Nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chief, you want to get into this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Look at them first. Okay, no. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
The crew must come up here.
Okay, we might need some people on their knees. All right, ready?
Solid go.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, that's. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you, appreciate it.
Back on the record. Here, do you want to do the line? Go ahead and take care of the libraries.
I can stay if you want me to.
It's okay, come on out, just give us, go ahead and, give us a brief about the new library and how all that needed, I guess.
I just want to say that if you saw me 15 minutes ago and I was the color of this paper and I did not see you. And my whole world is inside my phone. So I'm super excited that I found my phone. My gosh, Kim saved the day and I was able to find it.
Okay.
Siri finally answered me and I found him, so. Thank you. I just wanted to thank everybody for coming to the community listening session that we recently had, and I wanted to thank all of you. If anyone still would like to give input or would like to find out more information from library leadership, I would be happy to follow up with you and give you the direct email link and the place on the website in order to find that. It's the library's website, chpl.org as an organization. And if you look all the way at the bottom, scroll to the bottom, and it's about the library, and you want Next Generation Library. And then you can see all of them, but the only one that we care about is Miami Township branch. And that has the latest updates, and it has the part where you can fill out. I wanted to let you know that starting over the summer, it's very important for children to have an opportunity to continue reading and learning, and the library recognizes that, and we're taking efforts to really slow down that summer slide. And so we're going to have the summer reading. Summer reading is back, and it takes place over the 2 months, and it's just a great opportunity for kids to come in. It's free. Anyone up to 18 will get a game piece, and you can participate, and it's a chance to win prizes, and everybody gets a free book just for coming in and some other swag. So, do you have questions for me?
Is that any day? What's the dates?
It's summer reading is every single day. We'll have fun
So all of June,
activities.
all of
It's all of June and all of July. You come in and you work it at your own pace. We will have events. We're having Honey Hill Farm come with several of their farm animals. And we're also having Cincinnati Ballet come, and they're going to teach me. I'm not. I'm how to dance. But they're always free events happening at the library. The library is here for everybody. As a taxpayer, you're paying for it. And I would really want everybody to get some of these works. So I want to thank you all personally for all of your work and efforts. Ron is not here, but everyone has been in cooperation on working through our unanticipated remodeling of the carpet and wall in the adult area. The paint went up today and it looks lovely, and it complements the senior side as well. So everything is coming together. Yeah.
You answered, the exterior, like flower areas.
Yeah.
Do you guys maintain that? So that's-
No one wants me to do any gardening, but no. I believe that, yeah. Last year, Ron Miller and their team was very instrumental in working out a lot of the shrubs.
Well, it was part then, 3/4 of the beautification committee.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Julie
Julie Packer, and Jenna, and, Stephanie, Stephanie's last name, but there was four ladies from the beautification committee that went in.
Yeah.
They did a lot of that, so.
I
And
personally
it's
have
probably
tried
work
to
also.
believe those suckers are.
Yeah,
I only brought it up because, at our last meeting today, I was, that there's a flower planting effort by the beautification committee, this weekend, and they were offering to potentially plant
Those
some
side-
flowers in there, and I said, well, I don't know, someone else already purchased anything, or
Yeah.
they're doing whatever.
we haven't purchased flowers put in there. You haven't purchased anything, have you? But we did the outside by the front doors.
Yeah.
The beautification committee did that, they did the pots, and then, so, we didn't plant anything on the inside last year, did we?
In the courtyard?
Yeah.
There was pots, there are flower
The pots, but that's it. Right. But that's all, so, I wouldn't be opposed to that, would you be opposed to that, Carol?
No.
Yeah, so I think by all means, so, I'll reach out to Karen and go through her.
Sounds good.
That sound great?
Great, yeah.
Okay, good. Any other questions for Carrie, the library? All right, thank you, Carrie.
Thank you for allowing me the time. Me too.
All right, thank you. All right. Report.
I will still try to be brief. Excuse me. So, our department items, union negotiations will continue without we had an agreement. But the union body had some modifications they wanted to look at, so they were, excuse me, still waiting on that. On your agenda later tonight is a proposal to adjust the wages for our part-time firefighters. The proposal the chief has brings us still at least competitive with our neighbors and should make it a little easier to hire what few part-time people are out there. All right, I'll just finish the computer. On the bulk water fill station, I met with Eric Winhusen about that, and the EPA is gonna come out and do a site review to be sure they're okay with where we're gonna put that. Jordan Road water line extension, trustee Bland and I met with Mayor Burkholz and,
Jim, I have a quick question.
sure,
So do we have a date for EPA to come out for that?
not yet.
Do we have a ballpark figure on the date? Are we talking a month? Are we talking?
We're talking
next
sometime.
week?
Um,
We're
Mariano,
not talking 2 or 3 months out.
No. we're talking the next week or two.
Okay, okay. Go ahead.
First of the month is usually better for Mariano Hansel, who does this area.
Okay,
I just know that from experience with him.
okay. All right, thank you. Go ahead.
So trustee Blanton and I met with Mayor Burkholz and Eric Winhusen from Cleves, to get the Jordan Road line underway. Had a good meeting on that. At that meeting, we had a company called JS Health, who has helped some of our neighbors on their projects sit in, and they're gonna assist us on that with, doing some estimates on what the water line should cost. And, I'll get to them next. You don't even know this. I've had a second meeting with Eric after our meeting, and I think he wants to talk to his mayor before I talk to you guys, but I think we came to an agreement on how to fund all this that will be beneficial to everybody, and also keep us out of the water business and make that their line. So he was, very accommodating in that, and, very helpful, so.
It's updating.
Yeah,
So
so,
the week beginning next week, then I guess when you and Jeff will talk.
yeah.
Mr. Burkholz. All right.
So, JS Health, as I mentioned, I attended that meeting on our behalf. They're a company that, provides development consulting, project and program management, construction management, construction scheduling, planning. As we've talked about some projects that are going on and looking for people who don't necessarily build things or design things, but are good at finding grant money and looking at things in different ways of saving money for projects. If the water line project goes well, I may come to you and say, hey, let's put them on retainer for some of these other projects as we go. And we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. But the Jordan Road project is a nice, small, get to know them.
Yeah, let's see how it works out.
Yeah. Let's see. On a personnel note, I'm sorry to announce that Megan Kane, our administrative assistant at the Senior Center and Maintenance Department, has tendered her resignation. I'm updating that job description, and we'll be posting that job as soon as possible. Nuisance and zoning complaints. I've said it a couple times here. Since I arrived, I've tried to contact the owners personally, go out and see people, and due to the volume of complaints that we're receiving, we're just not going to be able to do that. We're going to keep up on them. We're going to check them out. As a matter of fact, Mr. Robinson went and checked on one that you sent us today. I think he got me a picture of that. And but we're going to keep up on them. We're going to get the letters out, but we just aren't going to have the time to give everybody the personal touch that we want. So,
Jason with the cards, there are 6 or 7 cards. Jason, let's see.
I included it in that email too.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't, but, yeah,
okay.
I'll just, I had a good discussion. I don't want to.
no, you're fine.
So Mr. Brett and I had a good discussion with Lieutenant Dunnigan, and we were about fire code enforcement and unsolicited, and you can back me up on this. He brought up, that, you know, the frustration over nuisance over the years. Obviously, this is the time when all those come rolling in. You know, that, so he says, let's have a great relationship with the guy. Okay. And yes, great work with him in Addiston and Cleves. And we had never talked about that before ever. And well, you know, that is the same individual that I brought forward as So, it's fine. I'm not gonna push the issue of, we don't want to do that, but, he brought it up and said, it's a great resource. It's somebody that he has a great working relationship with, knows the codes, knows, all of it. Just got to smile because never want to say that. So if the board ever wants to entertain, bringing him on at an hourly rate to be used as a resource by Mr. Brett. We go ahead and
That meeting was actually, we're going to do a small blurb in the newsletter about fire safety this week. So, that was what the meeting started out as, and it ended up covering safety and enforcement and
But the nuisance bills.
yeah, we plan to. So, you know what, I've given you guys a copy. I don't think I need to read all the meetings, into and I'm going to, that's more so you know where I'm gonna be. So, with that, if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
All right, any questions for Mr. Brett? All right, we'll just move on. All right, fire department, Chief Schuman.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, the fire chief. I left a copy of our monthly report in the back if anybody would like a copy of it. But in total, we did 164 calls for service. Several hundred items have been flushed. We continue with fire inspections. 84 hours, almost 84 hours of training was conducted last month. And at the end of this month, we will have representation at the Royal Bay Parade. Down there. We did 2 station tours for the Cub Scouts. We did the drug take back day on Saturday, which was a really big success. So that was nice. And then June 1st, we will be in Addison for the Drive Day, and then June 20th is concert day in Miami Village.
Any questions for the chief? All right, questions from the board?
No, I'll just say that, just to add on to that, again, that was just based on the newsletter, but in the conversation with Lieutenant Duncan, he's got a lot on his plate, and I think he's doing a great job. So I think we're still new, getting acclimated, but I was impressed with his passion.
He did a really great job. It takes a special person to really get into and like fire code stuff and prevention, because that's a very tedious job, and he does it very well. So I think some conversation just in a short time. So to continue to support that, he's a welcome information too.
We want to run balance the time or wait till later. But actually works. It's awesome. to see. So, thank you for us.
Great, and it was neat to see everyone, and thank you for your continued support. We can't do this without the board and the community's support. So without that, we would really kind of nowhere. So thanks for everyone who showed up, and the committee, the group that planned all that did a fantastic job.
All right, chief, thank you.
Guys, one short,
Yeah,
no,
go ahead.
what's the status of the new trucks? How far along, when will they be delivered?
So the engine will be in the fall. I'll have the date.
Oh, yeah, I just,
Yeah, and then ladder truck, it will be year and a half or so.
is it still power?
So no, we changed it. We took the bucket off the front. Yeah. And we made it from a dual axle to a single axle. To make it more feasible for our roads. Perfect.
That's great.
But they're trying to get us moved up in the line there, but about a year.
That's what I just wondered, because it just seems like it's dragging on, but I know it's crazy what's.
But yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you, chief. All right, senior center, Mrs. Ferber.
Okay, so April report, I know I mentioned this last month, at the Township meeting, that our April 2nd program, preventing financial fraud and exploitation for seniors was canceled due to severe weather that we had. So it has been rescheduled for Tuesday, June 25th at 10 o'clock. I want to get that out there because I think it's an important program to have. So, Tuesday, June 25th, and that'll be in the newsletter. Keep an eye out for that. April 8th, we had an eclipse party at West Park. So a bunch of members went out. We had the shelter there reserved, and we had drinks and snacks and watched the eclipse. So it's kind of a fun day. April 19th was our monthly birthday party that we have monthly. So we celebrate all the members who had a birthday in April. So of course, we had lunch. We would play bingo, horse racing. It's just a busy, fun day. April 23rd. Again, we had donuts and coffee, we had entertainment come in. Charlie runs, he sings and plays the guitar and next month when he comes back, the speech party thing, so everybody's going to do lion surf and bathing suits and play, I don't know, but it's always a good time. And that's day at 10 o'clock. Okay, whatever. 25th, we went to an outing to Voice of America. And the use of the cast bus has been fantastic. That's been working out really well. So we were able to take 16 members, which is a full bus, and we still had a wait list. So that's been so good. Rather than the 8 we can bring on our. But we are limited because we have to stay within the 275 to use the bus now. But that's okay. April 29th and May 4th, we went to Virginia Beach. Very nice. We saw, we went to Colonial Williamsburg, for the Battleship Wisconsin, which was fascinating. The aquarium, we saw all kinds of sights, spent the time at the beach. So everybody had a really good time, great weather. Next trip is in October to Branson. So hopefully we'll get another big group, they get to go. Let's see, this month, May 29th, at 11 o'clock, Harrison Trail is coming to the center to give a program and to give us information on their facility. And they're going to provide lunch for everybody who attends. So you need to make a reservation for that so we can plan, numbers for lunch. Reservation has to be by the 24th of May. Senior chorus is going to be performing on our Memorial Day lunch on the 24th. So we're going to have a grill out. They're going to sing. I'm really looking forward to that. So that's going to be a really good day. And they're also performing on Monday, the Legion, which I think around 11:30 is what they're planning on. So they've been practicing really hard. So come out and see them and support them because they do a great job. And that's all I have. I do want to mention, like going back to landscaping, there's a lot of mulching that needs to be done. Courtyard, front of the sign, around the part of the building. I'd like to get that done sometime.
We can do it. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can make this do it.
Yeah.
So send me and Jonathan that.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, understood.
great.
All right, any questions for Ms. Herbert? Any questions from the board? All right, maintenance department, Don Miller is excused.
Well, now, most of what he would discuss is in your new business. Anyway,
Yeah, that's fine, we'll wait for that. All right, safety services, Mr. Hughes, he's not here. Itself, do you have anything on that, Tim?
no, really.
Do you want to read his report in the record, or I can read it into the record?
Big land or two, or,
All right, safety services Director Jim Hughes report. No incidents were reported to his office during the report period. 2024 has no injuries reported to PWC. Thanks to all the employees and the township board for their continued support for safety. Keep up the great work. We will all win. I plan on having a safety appreciation lunch in July for our employees. We will discuss the date and location of the June safety meeting. Jim attended the Hamilton safety meeting. Topic was hearing protection for employees. Last month, we discussed the Board of Health when it started with POD sites again. It's been 4 years since the last meeting. He will be reaching out to past members and looking for new members to join his team. The next POD managers will be this fall. He'll keep everyone posted and ask for help on some of the staff positions. Also wanted to remind us of Memorial Day parade in Cleves is Monday, 27th of May. He's been busy with several meetings throughout the month, and that's it for Mr. Hughes. All right.
And I requested, we asked Mr. Brett to follow up with Mr. Hughes just as far as scheduling that employee lunch, and because they sometimes the committee picks it and then flips it out, and sometimes it might not work for the administrator, or not work for any of the board members. And I enjoy one and saying thank you to the employees. So I know it's hard to schedule something that works for everyone, is to try to do a little bit, do our best to check on dates.
Jim, you're gonna reach out to Jim anyway, because he's got other discussions. We talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can talk about and discuss that. Shoot us all an email so we're aware of it.
Sure, well.
Thank you. All right, do you want to take facility rentals for these roles?
I'll just, I guess, skim it. She obviously gives her typical stats as far as total number of rentals. She breaks it down with community center and town hall. We did point out the shred day, and I want to make a special thank you, give a special shout out to her and CDE for all their efforts. They had over 7,000 pounds of shredding that day. So that was fantastic. And I wasn't able to show up at the beginning, but showed up at the end, and they were whipped. It was quite a day, and I had cars lined up all the way out in Bridgetown. Open house, she attended week drive meeting, park rentals. Upcoming dates, May 28th, community center open house. So those continue to go well. And she's been great as far as handling our events. So again, obviously, June 20th is our concert with 90 Proof Twang, and movie night is June 28th, which that is when you do Panda food. So
What's the movie though?
I would do Panda boring.
All right, any questions about rentals from anyone? All right, we'll move right along. All right, parks, the JJ Park. He is not here. Do you have anything for the parks? Jim?
No, I did meet with him, last Wednesday, down at the park. We thought that was gonna be, a youth night down there, but, no, it's also the same night as Chief Schumann inning. But, the rain canceled
Yeah,
that.
right
but-
now, Friday.
Yeah, so I did talk with him down there and checked in on what was going on, so, he seems fine, that he didn't need anything. All's good.
Good deal. All right, just while we're on the parks real quick, Jim and I met with, Jennifer, I cannot remember her last name, Jennifer. I said it was Jennifer, it's
Just
Jessica.
checking.
Well, it's the same contact you had with the Ohio River Foundation. When they came in and did those livestock sports along the river for erosion, they did it for free on the grant. So Jim and I met with her. We walked the park somewhat and pointed out our new addition that we're working on, which is going out East Miami along the river. And we asked her, that was a grant opportunity. She did that, life stakes for the erosion with a grant that the Ohio River Foundation got. Now that grant money's ran out. So we asked her to give us a estimate on what it would take for them to come in, and the live stakes would be free. They harvest them from upriver somewhere, she said. I think up by, Park Incorporated. But anyway, So we're waiting on a estimate for her for that, and then some, weed control down there. We were also gonna reach out to, Texas and the wildlife, Western Wildlife Corridor.
Yeah,
See
we,
if they would help us.
yeah, we talked about cutting back the invasive species, like the honeysuckle. So, and it's really starting to take over down there. So,
We just want to keep it under control. We don't want it to. So,
Yeah.
So we want to try to keep that river, which we got nice woods. We just want to keep that. Our extension we're planning, which we're starting to take off. We've met a couple times on the committee, just real quick, and then we're starting to try to get that going again. Because we have a pathway along the river, we want to keep that goes all the way up to the Edinburgh property and back around, which makes the walking trail that much larger. I'm not sure how much. Do you remember, Mark?
Yeah,
Another
I
half
tell you,
mile?
it's,
It's at least another half mile.
it's at least another.
Yeah. So we'll have at least a mile and a half walking trail in the west park when we get that completed, so.
One thing, if you don't mind, that she commented to us, and keep in mind, this is what she does for a living. She goes around, she works and sees a lot of different places. And her comment was, our facility with the area along the river is one of the most pristine areas that's been done correctly in keeping nature where it should be and things. And she was just really impressed with the entire facility.
Yeah.
I think that means a lot when it's somebody that sees everybody's.
Oh, yeah. We get a lot of compliments on the park, so we're gonna keep it nice. All right, IT, Mike Taylor. Mike Taylor's on opposite. You got an update for Mike Taylor, Jim?
No, other than, one of the issues we've been working with here, and I know you've heard a lot about it, the camera system, the door locks that we've been having some issues with. I met with a new supplier for that. They're gonna give us a ballpark figure so I can see how they fit in with the current supplier we have and price wise and things. And, we hope to have something to you for next month on that, on either upgrading what we have here or going with a whole new company.
Okay. And while we're on that subject, Karen, if you talk to Mike Kenny about the cameras down there.
I went around and, documented like where all of our cameras are in the building and suggested that where they can put new ones, like, the library side, there's no cameras. So I had
One on the side of the building, I don't know if everyone knows, but our sign got rock broken through on the side. So we've got cameras there that didn't capture anything, but we need to address this in the future. And, we're on the right side.
In addition, I started carting another commitment to safety, but county sheriff's department is working with a program, I believe it's called Flock, where they we would grant them access to some of our cameras, and if we go with this new system, we could just grant them access to the ones that we wanted. Right now, we would have to give them everything.
We just talked about it last meeting.
You know, I think if we could get our outdoor cameras to touch the edge of the roads too, that would be a great help.
Do you know, did the sheriff's office respond? Did you, I meant to call you back.
you know, actually, I was on that day, and I know, like, somebody did talk to the sheriff. He did come over, like, nine, who talked to him.
Probably because they did file a report. I believe he said they did, but chance of finding that person are probably going to be.
All right. All right, we'll refer, yes, I'll refer back to you, new business.
All right, first on our list, the fire reporting software that the fire department uses is going to no longer be supported as of this October. They're recommending a product from Emergency Networking, and the cost on that is $17,345. People might get that approved this evening. We don't want to wait till the old stuff goes bad before we get the new stuff in.
I got questions. What price did you say? $17,000.
you have to go on down to the very bottom. Let the page didn't go through, we look.
That's to now.
Right down. That's the original, my original, new business page, and, if you look on the first page, the, initial quote is 2,095,
Okay, that's.
and then if you go to page 2, the total is 17,345.
Okay. All right.
Now, Chief Schuman corrected me on that, I apologize for not getting changed in there on that page.
The 17,000 what?
$345.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion? Yeah, I'll make a motion to bring it to the fire report software.
Second,
And Mr. Robinson,
yes.
Mr. Blaine,
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Next, we're very fortunate right now that our, we have 4 current firefighters in paramedic school, and we believe they are all going to be eligible for a scholarship that will cover the cost of that tuition. However, we're still in the process of vetting that, and we don't have that scholarship awarded, and the folks started class yesterday, Chief? Tuesday. And just on the outside chance that scholarship doesn't cover the full cost, I just would like to have the board approve that we will cover any additional costs not covered by the scholarship or the entire thing under our normal tuition program, for them just to be sure that we're covered.
Yeah, I think we had a conversation on this, what, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the chief met with, like, the Board of Trade Scholarship. We're not quite there yet, but, you know, I think it's been a whole cost. So,
Yeah.
But, I would, be happy to. It was all going to be, one of it's going to be by the township anyway.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve of that tuition reimbursement, whatever that scholarship is.
Can I ask a question or two? Do we have a ballpark idea of what would be the maximum that we would be on the floor, just in general?
You know what the actual tuition.
So I think what was initially proposed for four folks, $10,000, for each. Student that goes to we're full going through it right now, so, right now, the max would be right around that $40,000 mark. The goal is with the scholarship to the city of use that. And I don't know that number yet, because we haven't sure about that one, but, the max would be $30,000.
And I know in years past, there was a lot of discussions, I don't need to get in them, but everybody feels confident in the selection process who selected to go for that, because I know in years past, there was a lot of the what criteria, and I don't know it, but everybody feels good, and we're not gonna
So
have somebody
all
come
of the
in
groups
and
that before I got here, I signed off on or spoke to all the places. They'll also sign. So, that program, so 5 years, before that is program. Right.
want to invest in our people, but we want to invest in people that want to stay here to do hard work.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Blaine,
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
So next on our agenda, the approval of part-time pay adjustment, where it's recommended by the chief. You have that in your folder.
that under the fire department?
That's under old business. Right after the emergency networking proposal. Looks like that. Oh, just, the proposals for the pay adjustment for part-time firefighters.
Okay. You'll see on the website here.
Our current, what you have is a list of neighboring departments. And then what our current scale is for medic, our current part-time rate is 1917. And basic EMT is 1767. And the proposed new rate is for medic is $24 and basic EMT is $20 an hour. But certainly doesn't make us the top paid in the area, but it makes us a little more competitive.
It makes us real good. That's where we're going to increase also. So. Any questions? Any discussion? It's very hard to run through some new business. Everything you say. Bookmarks. The work. There we go.
I also have some suggestions on how to thin this thing down. It's really big. You may have noticed the chief thinned down his and got the same information in 2 pages. It used to take us 10.
Do you have any discussion? On here too, is training promotion.
So that's the goal here. I did speak with Ms. Oger about the numbers, just to make sure we can financially support that as well. And she was on board with the help. So the goal is to recruit some part-time medics or full-time other departments that bring an experience with them. And do that, I think, experience. I know a couple already that.
Okay. Anything else?
I guess, does this impact our, the outlook and expectations for the time at all? Or it's already announced that we're still in negotiations with union.
So this is all initially have to deal with negotiations.
Sure.
Well, what I mean, I don't know how long the negotiations are.
Sure.
What I do know is that we are working our way to death. If we can get this approved, and this is so tired to offset those other things that would be. Well, it's have to all.
Yeah,
I understand where you're coming from.
Plus.
The one thing the chief and I have talked about, and he's correct, we're working a lot of these guys, a lot of hours. And by being able to bring in more part-timers, we'll be able to fill some of those shifts, so we'll be able to reduce overtime and things. So this should actually help the bottom line. Cindy and I talked about that. And, you can only have people work so many hours.
Yeah, and I I'm good with it. The socials good, run that recommendation from you, correct recommendation from the chief. So I said, yeah, make a motion to accept that part-time. All right.
Well, second.
And Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Bland,
Yes.
and Mr. Mulder.
Yes.
So, next item, and this will be one for discussion, the finance committee with Soser, Kim and I have all met and talked about, what we need in the way of funding to run this department. And, the recommendation has been that we, renew the existing 3.5 mil levy, it's a 5-year levy, and ask for an additional 3 mils with that. So you have the option of putting the renewal on as a separate levy and 3 additional mills as a separate levy, or doing a renewal with addition. Next thing we'll be discussing is what we need to do on the sheriff's contract, and that will require a renewal. So it's, I guess, we can have 2 renewals and a new, or a renewal and addition and a renewal. So it's 3 levies or 2, or however you gentlemen decide. My recommendation has always been, let's narrow the choices down so that they don't pick one of the 3 and go, well, I already need the lowest one. That's all I'm going to do. I would recommend that we get a committee together on these and the information out. But my recommendation is always to do the renewal and additional as one levy. But that's Jim. So
Okay, any discussion?
From us? Yeah, so this will take us through, so if we do the one renewal and addition, that one will take us through what year?
that will, the total that would bring in, for the renewal will bring in $918,290. The 3 mills additional will bring in $1,023,000. So our total with the continuous levy that we have on, brings us in $2,799,850. We also are asking that you request the villages to increase their contracts by 2 additional mills. So if we would do that right now, the village of Addison is paying $40,104 a year. 2 new mills in Addison would be $33,000. So they would be bringing in $73,104. Village of Cleves currently pays $252,394. 2 mills in Cleves is $159,400, for a total of $411,794. Village of North Bend currently pays $189,135. 2 mills in North Bend will bring in $97,990, and for a total of $287,125. So the village contribution for their contracts would be $772,023. Of the total, the township would be paying 78%, then villages would be paying 22%. And in essence, what this does is it will cover a little more than our salaries projection for 2025, which will allow us not to have to ask for any additions to the general fund levy at this time. By 2027, our salaries will be at $3,088,500. So we're going to be approaching probably 2028. We're going to max out and we'll be able to cover the salaries. Benefits and things by then will be covered out of the general fund. Equipment is predominantly covered out of the TIP fund. So it'll get us through probably 5 years and we'll have to regroup.
And my understanding is the process, is that we're asking tonight for an auditor to essentially give us an assessment and make sure that this is
Yes.
accurate as far as what we would be getting in. But that if we wanted to make any adjustments, we still have the ability to do that.
Yes, we haven't, I
After
have
we
an
get
estimate from the auditor.
clarity from the auditor.
We have an estimate from them on what the villages and what we would bring in.
Sure.
But this is just the resolution of necessity. So we would be asking the auditor to give us the actual numbers that would go on the ballot. So we get that, then we ask them to prep that for the ballot. And then we take that to the Board of Elections and do that. So if we get these numbers back and we find something changes or we don't like the numbers, we can still ask for more or less. We just have to go through this process again of getting the auditor to give it to us. Technically, the auditor is supposed to get us that back in 10 days. This time of year, it's easy for them to do that, even with the changeover down there. But as we get closer to the election, that 10-day period gets really tight. So we're trying to get all this paperwork in early, so we're not hung out, not getting our information, so we can get it to the Board of Elections.
So we need to ask for approval of this resolution that's in front of us
Correct.
for that to happen, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, with that being said, we got a question.
Good. I have no questions.
So this recommendation that we're asking, which is recommendation right now, well, from the finance committee, fiscal officer, and yourself.
Correct.
All right, do we, that's all I have.
Yeah, I think we talked about it. So,
I know you've been working on that. Jim's been working on the Senate and finance committee.
And the chief has been
And the chief, too.
very, very helpful. It's been a blessing to have.
Do you have any-
well, just when the last meeting, Mr. Moreline brought up some good concerns, and I think that when you initially hear these numbers, it does kind of give you a reason to pause, right? Ultimately, we're trying to rebuild our department and make it what we all know it can be and should be. And so I think it's incumbent on all of us and the citizens and community and whatever else to help educate folks. So we're just starting this process and we've got a long road, but, you know, I mean, I had a reaction. I think everyone, a lot of others had the same reaction to that number. Stop for a second, but so work that out.
So the cost per 100,000 is $105 per 100,000. So the owner of a $300,000 home will be looking at $315 annually as an increase. So yeah, basically. So and just, you know, I was giving you salary only numbers for employees. Salary and benefits numbers for 2025 at $4,372,000. So by the time we make our contribution to the retirement system, insurance, and everything, yeah. It costs a lot of money to get good people, but doesn't cost that much less to not get good people. So I think our goal here is to get the best quality people we can and get the best equipment. Again, blessed because we have the TIP fund to buy equipment with.
Hey, Mr. Burkholz?
Yeah, I just have a question. How much conversation has taken place with the villages about what you are going to make your decisions? I realize it's expensive for fire protection, but it is going to impact people. We're all part of Miami Township, so that's right. at the same time, you gotta have time in the village. And when I take a look at the amount of money that is going to hit claims, when we have had 3 failed levies, I would like you to consider the fact that there probably needed to be more discussion involving the villages, not just the village of Cleves, but also Addison. So I'm asking what type of dialogue actually is there?
So I've had, excuse me, had conversations with Doug Salmons and Margie down at North Bend. They wanted to know because they have an early meeting this month, Lake Mears, knows the number. And I told them that we would be finalizing that this evening. So tomorrow I'll be getting them out. Yes, what we're going to ask for. And what Mr. Burkholz says is true. The last time we did this, 5 years ago, it was very difficult because the township came to the villages at the last minute. They had to hold special meetings to get everything in time with the Board of Elections. This time we're ahead of the game on that, so there's plenty of time for them to talk about it and get with their residents and let them know what the requests are. Last time, Keep Over and Jack Reininger came to place. They didn't know what the levy amount was. We've done homework and done things on that. They just came in and said, I was working as a fiscal officer there at that time, and said, we need whatever the village was, 3.5. And you guys gotta do that. Started working the days backward with the administrator, and like, we needed to start last month to do that. So that's why we're trying to do this early this time, so that we don't put an undue burden on them.
I'm not sure you answered my question.
So
I heard an answer, but I'm not sure I got what I thought I might hear. Because my answer would be, there may have been a notification of 2 mills, but there was no discussion between the village of Cleves and Miami Township as to whether or not the village of Cleves is going to be able to absorb that type of an increase. I don't know where North Bend is. I don't know where Addison is, but it would seem to me at some point in time, when you're taking a look at the numbers you're talking about, there should have been some discussion prior to ever coming up with these figures. And I'm just saying there ought to be a little bit more communication.
Oh, I think you might be correct on that, but I had to have a number from these gentlemen before I can come to you and talk to you about the
And
number.
so if we go back, for example, into our council and say, sorry, we're not going to go with that. We're going to be looking for other services. And I'm not saying we can find them. I'm not even saying we're going to do that. To me, you've sort of got the cart before the horse.
Well, I know that the last time this came up, the village police did look at other services. And
It's sort of a take it or leave it. I'm just telling you how I see it, how I do it.
I don't think that's the case, Mr. Brookfield. So I don't think it's the case. Now, our lack of communication might be on our part, and that's probably their fault. But I think it's all correct. I mean, we're talking about the 3rd week in May right now, 2024. So I think we can still correct this with the villages and meet with them and go to the meetings and advise them what we're doing tonight right away. Right? We can do
that's
that.
the plan. That's
Okay.
so. And then if you feel like that's something you can do,
What I'm saying is that we have a finance committee too. And one of the things in our village last year, we had a 7.0 mil levy go on the ballot that failed. And just for example, today when I went out on Walmsley Avenue, that project alone is $1 million project. We were going to do any work at all on that village. We do not have the amount of TIF funds that you have. So everything we're looking at is based on our general fund. And I guess from a standpoint of negotiations, I've been through negotiations for years as a school superintendent. I understand you've got costs, you're trying to project the cost. You're saying that's a fair amount for the village. I'm not saying it's not, but right now you're making a determination of the amount you're going for. is appropriate. I would have suggested maybe a meeting with the villages prior to ever setting these numbers. And because we're not part of it. And that to me would have been a more appropriate way of addressing it. There may be time, these may be the final numbers. If they're the final numbers, the village of Cleves may still not have the ability to do what you're asking. So that may cause talks of dissolution and absorption into my township. We are struggling to maintain our village, which I think is in the best interest of my township. All I'm saying is it would be nice to have some thorough discussion, understanding what the costs are, being involved in that process at the start, not at the end.
I'm still at the, I'm not sure how I do that until I get these numbers and, yeah.
I would say if you are projecting the numbers that you need, then you gotta take whatever the numbers you think are, and you have those discussions. We have not had any discussions. Okay, so I gotta go back and I'm gonna have to take a look, whatever you guys hand us. Okay, whatever it is that figure is, I gotta go back and say, can we afford this in our general fund? You're taking a look at the numbers you're talking about for the village of Cleves. If I'm using your numbers, I think that's $411,000, $411,794. I can't give you an exact dollar percentage, but that is a tremendous, especially when we had a renewal levy that failed 3 years ago, when we lost $322,000 on the budget. I'm just saying there's a reality here to our budget too. And I realize we can't exist without fire protection as a village any more than we can exist if we don't have police protection. So all I'm saying is if we're going to be working on this stuff together, which is what I would hope we're doing, it would have been nice to hear some of these numbers prior to tonight.
All I can say is that I didn't have the numbers to bring to you. These are been a work in progress since I've got here. So I didn't have the expense numbers. We still don't have the exact employee costs because we were hoping to have that union contract approved. So we're doing this on our best estimate.
I'm just asking you to consider this because this will not be the last round of negotiations. You're talking about 5 years out in the future. You're going to be coming back for more. All of that impacts. And honestly, I've tried to get our residents and my council to understand that everything Miami Township does has an impact on our budget. Okay, and I'm trying to get them to look at this as a regional thing, but I also got to get my citizens to look at it that way. And the education part of it, when you've had 3 straight levies fail, may be very different.
I understand.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, anything else from the board? All right. I think we decided that we're going additional. Do we have to determine that right now?
Yeah, we have to ask them.
One levy, or we're gonna do 2 separate ones?
Correct. We have to determine that.
Okay. So the resolution is just declaring the villages, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to talk about your feelings on that? All right. Like the recommendation, excuse me, real quick, I'm sorry. The recommendation from the administrator is to put 1 levy on the fire, which would be 3.5 renewal and then 3.0 increase, correct?
Correct. And by the way, I guess I neglected to mention the option of not renewing the police levy and the existing fire levy and fire security and doing a new safety services levy, which is always a possibility. We would have to go back and figure that amount.
So the first thing we need to do is decide how we want to go about it.
Correct.
So let's cross that bridge. You got any comments? Mr.
I would agree with the recommendation of the administrator. I think that it's, we can't have a thriving fire department unless we get, the additional.
And, all right, just so I, one of you want to make a motion?
So if it's one levy, which is under the 5 or 6.
It's 05. Resolution number 2020-405, but first we're gonna have to pass. We're gonna put one on, is that what this is?
This resolution is for.
Just the one, I read it, and I'm pretty sure, so. All right, I'll read it into the record. It's a resolution declaring the necessity of levying a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the purpose of providing fire protection. Said levy to constitute a renewal levy of 3.5 mils for a continuing period of time in the entire unincorporated area of Miami Township. And further requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 5705.03.
I can make one correction on that because
Yeah.
this statement late from our attorney, that should be for a period of 5 years. Not a continuing.
Okay, for a continuing period of time for 5 years.
Yeah.
All right, do I have a motion from the board? I'll make that motion that that resolution,
I will second.
Yeah, Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Blank,
yes.
Mr. Bowler.
Yes.
That will address the need for the,
Okay.
Ireland, we'll get that wording correct.
All right, we got those two things. All right. Now we'll open up discussion for the renewal of the police levy. So we'll take discussions on that first.
Yes, Mike, you want to talk about the latest proposal?
Sure. So Mr. Brett and I again met with the county administrator, Jeff Ludo, and assistant county administrator, Lisa Webb. And again, previously, it was presented to us a contract proposal from the sheriff's office that essentially was a take it or leave it. I think that we have a good rapport with the county administrator and his team. Had a good approach to the matter and explained where we were and what we could afford and what we could not. I'm pleased to say that we've made some progress and that they are giving on and lowering the expectations of the cost. I don't think we're ready to announce those specifics right now today because we literally got an update just this afternoon. So I'm going to digest that a little bit more before bringing it to the board for consideration. But it makes me, I think both of us, and if you disagree, certainly chime in. But I think that this could give us the ability to not ask for an increase and to just ask for a renewal. I think which go a long way in what we've just been talking about and helping the residents swallow the bill of again, the additional money that we're going to be asking for from the fire department. So it would be more coverage and less money than what was on the table previously. And that's exciting because safety is certainly a priority of mine. I'm sure it's the rest of the board as well. Stay tuned, but I think progress. But I don't know that. Do you recommend that we,
I think for right now, we got this. We've been working back and forth on this. Between Mr. Upson and I. Pretty heavy on this. I actually sent, a message to, Lisa Flynn at the assistant trust, or, the assistant administrator at the county level, who was working with us, text last week and said, I don't want to be like the kid in the back of the car, but are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Because I've got to make a decision on the levy coming up soon. And he promised to get us something before our meeting, and I think it was 4:30 this afternoon. Right. That we got it. So as long as we get a chance to look this over, we can cover our costs for the next few years, at least with what we have. Not have to ask for additional money, and it will reduce the number, give us the opportunity to reduce the number of cars in the future that we would have to, in that 10-year plan to make that. Okay. And I believe, my initial look might even save the village of Lee's a little bit of money, and the village of North Bend. So I'm hopeful that we just need to review it this time, again, because we just need to get that number from the auditor. My recommendation is that we just, ask for the numbers for the renewal.
Sounds good. Just go right to any discussions. Okay. Any discussion from the public on renewal of the police levy contract? All right, now I got the discussion also. Do I have a motion? This resolution, let me read this into the record. Resolution number 2024-06. It's a resolution declaring the necessity of levying a tax in excess of 10 mil limitation for the purpose of providing police protection. Said levy to constitute a renewal levy of 0.5 mils for 5 years in the entire unincorporated area of Miami Township. Further requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 5705.03. All right, do we have a motion for the resolution?
We'll probably make a motion that we accept and approve resolution number 2024-06.
Second.
And Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Flynn?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm doing Cindy jump. All right, next item on our agenda is to set the fees that we're going to request from the villages, so we can notify them, so they can work on their end and see what they can do. So current recommendation is we have them for 2 mills. I think they're going to be a formal request to them, so as Mr. Burkholz said, they have questions or change things, we can always work with them to do what we can to accommodate them.
Okay. Mr. Walker? Yeah, I think we make the motion to for that, there's 2 mills. All right, and it's 2 mills even for Addison, Village of Addison, Village of Cleves, Village of North Bend, it's 2.0 mills. We're asking for a new on all 3, correct?
Correct.
All right, can you make another motion?
Yes. Second.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Flynn?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Next on our agenda is the contract with the Regional Planning Commission. As you know, our land use plan is up for renewal. So Mr. Robinson and I had met with him earlier this year. They got us this estimate. This will basically let them them to work with us and everything else they do for it anyway. So the cost on that contract is $7,143.24.
All right, any discussion from the board? All right, so we have a motion for the approval of the Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission. It's at $7,143.74.
Make a motion that we approve the contract for services with the Regional Planning Commission. That is $7,000. Past the 5-year point.
Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Bland,
Yes.
Mr. Bower.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, get my glasses out for the next few. Because these things have been kind of a work in progress. We've been working with Strasser Construction because our pavement management restoration every year. And, while their contract is lower than what it normally is, they no longer are going to do full depth blacktop repair. So we'll be getting separate pricing on that, and I have some of that to add to your agenda this evening. I apologize for not getting it to you sooner. The original contract with Strasser was for $214,442.22. You have a list of roads that would be involved in that type pavement restoration, which we'll be recommending for that. Since that time, we've taken a look at South Point. And there's been a recommendation that we do some work to that before it gets any worse. We can approve that separately, or I have a new proposal from them that includes that. Their portion of that is $17,459.82, which would, if we do that all in one contract, there's really no reason not to. Would bring that contract to $232,826.22. So I know Mr. Bland got out and looked at a lot of these streets with Mr. Miller.
Any discussion from the board? Mr. Rivers?
So I thought there was like three, that was something.
Well, we're gonna
That's
do,
separate.
we're gonna do a couple of them separate.
Oh, okay.
This is a different company.
And then, gotcha. And then, just in general, where does this put us? We've talked in the past about all parts of how much we've spent on road improvements, and is this pretty much in line with?
It's way below it right now.
Okay.
We're gonna add to it and try to, as the summer goes on, so we're way below it. Normally we spend,
of what's in,
Yeah.
that we normally.
normally we spend anywhere between $400,000 and $550,000. So this is 233, and we've got some curb work, but we're gonna add in a few extra roads, that Strasser does not do anymore, so that's why it's gonna be.
It was
It's gonna be no,
pretty in line with where we.
yes, yeah, we're not gonna go.
So get the number that, not to exceed number, we plan to stay under that.
We try to stay in there for $500,000.
Okay.
So this is way below it. We're gonna add to it there to our summer, but we're gonna stay under that.
Very good.
All right, any questions, Mr. Fuller? All right, I'll make a motion that we go ahead with the Strasser proposal. That Mr. Bright read into the record. I got 233,000. I didn't get the rest.
232, 826, 22.
232, 826, 22.
Correct.
All right, I'll make that a motion for approval. Have a second?
And Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Bland?
Yes.
Mr. Bower? So next, we just added the Strasser portion of South Point in. There's some full depth blacktop work to be done there that we do not have a price on, and we'll get that to you when we get it. And we have about 175 foot of curbs and gutters that need replaced there. We have a price from Hindi on that one, and then a couple others that we'll be bringing up. So I don't know what that one averaged out, but they're about $80 a foot, which is the going rate. We weren't able to get anybody else to give us a price on that. But they've done work for us. They've done work for the village leads. They've done work in Whitewater. Good work. My recommendation is that we approve the $14,000 for the work on South Point. And when I get the full depth blacktop repair price, I'll get that to you. And that will take care of South Point.
We can go ahead and add Presswick to it also, the 3875, same company.
Yeah, we,
So just go ahead and talk about that.
Okay. Speak into that.
So. I got it.
You got it.
You don't have it.
I've got it.
So the other one's 3,875, it's by Andy also. It's at 7530 Prestwick and 7531 Prestwick.
But that one is, an issue that's been longstanding in, the Deer Run, subdivision. That's to repair an area that water is standing in the curb from a couple homes there. And the homeowner has been very good to work with, and, quite honestly, we've had 3 or 4 people out with Mr. Miller and I to look at that for a solution, and this one seems to be the best solution. So, this should fix that, and, short of that, I hate to say it might be, we have to clear the whole end of this cul-de-sac out to make it any better, so. I believe this will fix the problem to Mr. Miller.
Okay, so then so that's on Prestwick, same companies, they incorporated. And then we also, do you have
I have,
proposal on,
proposal for Hampton Woods and Beacon Woods,
correct.
Hampton Woods, 105 linear feet, 6 different work areas, for a total of $8,400, and Beacon Woods, 7 work areas for 80 total feet at 6,400, so 14,800 for those 2. All these are from Indy. So we can knock all this out of one time.
Yeah. So I make a motion for the approval, we're gonna include them all in one. It's the intersection of Aspen Woods and Beacon Woods. It's at 105 linear feet at 8,400. And then on Beacon Woods, 7 work areas, 80 total linear feet, $6,400 for a total of 14,800. Then also we're going to put in that 7530 Prestwick, 7531 Prestwick, which is at 3875 even, $3,875, along with the 14,000 on South Point for a total of 17,875. So I'll make that a motion so that we can move forward with this.
Second.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Flynn,
Yes.
Mr. Ford.
Yes.
Thank you. I have one other street, if we wanted to do that while we're here, that, this was an email or text message late from Mr. Miller. There's some area on Omaha Street that requires full depth blacktop removal and repair. And Three Rivers Blacktop has given us a price on that. They've done work for us before, and we're pleased with their work. They also do work for the village of Plains. Total cost on that is $13,250.20. And just so you know, we'll get you a running total so you know what we spent on roads this year. I did this is going to be part of it.
With all this, we're still under 300,000. So. All right, any questions from the boards?
So but you'll get a written, actual proposal.
I actually haven't. He sent a text to Ron. Ron sent the text to me. I can't print from my text on our copier, but Kim can, so she was able to print it. So we actually have it. This is another thing that came in actually later than the sheriff's.
Okay.
So, but while we're going to get him out to do some work, it's cheaper to have to do it all the time.
Tell me the amount again, Jim.
$13,250.20 for,
Omaha, correct?
yeah.
All right, I'll make a motion that we go ahead and pass that for Omaha repair on $13,250.20. Second. Second, yes.
And Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Blanton,
Yes.
Mr. Lawler.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, next is a project that's been hanging out for a while. The proposed parking lot down at Three Rivers School. We have an easement agreement that the attorneys have been working on. for the parking lot in the construction easement. There's a couple of exhibits, the drawings that need to be added, and a couple of pieces of, this and that need to be cleaned up in the language, but it's close enough that, if you're comfortable with, allowing me to get the attorney to finish that up, and allowing me to sign that, we can just move forward with that easement agreement. I understand that the actual parking lot, is ready for bids, so next month we can have those documents for you, we get that out to bid. I'm gonna look at my price burger, and then, if, like you were doing that project, are we ready to take that to bid? The parking lot? Just the parking. The bid? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is the first I heard that we're gonna do, so that's bid. Okay. Then I will work with Mark to get us to the next one, and bring that to you next month.
Okay. This is just to give you the authority with the easement to move forward on it.
Yeah, so even if you choose not to do the project, you know, you can always get sent the easement. Just put the move forward with that.
I'll make it a motion that we give the township administrator, Jim Brett, to execute temporary construction and public parking easement agreement with Three Rivers School District.
Second.
So I guess just so I can understand, so, but we wouldn't do this unless we're supportive of the department, correct? And we have an agreement on parking.
That's what this is for.
And so we're doing. So there was a lot of discussions previously, and we were paying for the parking lot.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They're providing the land free to us. It butts up to our park where it's gonna be more handicap accessible, more parking for our park. Is it gonna benefit school on that side? A little bit, yes, mainly for ourselves.
Okay, so
That's my take.
in my discussion with Dr. All, and what was this, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, Mr. Grant, that we had a meeting right over here?
Oh,
Ish, 2 months ago, okay, so we had the superintendent, we had a couple of school board members, school administration, and I asked them, and I said, who would benefit the most from this parking lot? And they said that they would by far. I said, who would use this for the most part? And they said that the student athletes and or the parents that are dropping off the students. That sure, you could have an individual or two that walks the park mostly with, and I even stopped and said, and I think it was Garen Evans, one of the school board members, who said, football, soccer practice there, baseball, you know, everything. So, I asked, I said, so basically, you say it would help the school a little bit. I think I said something like, about 95% of the benefit would be from the school, and they all agree with that.
That's just
And then
their
I said-
opinion and their opinion.
Right.
It's not my opinion.
I didn't say it was your
My
opinion, but I'm
is
saying,
totally opposite.
but I'm saying that the school and all the administration that was there, and there's a couple of school board members that were there, said that they felt like, and agreed with me, that they felt like that it was the vast majority of the benefit would come from the school and the athletics there. And I said, well, then were you surprised that you weren't asked to contribute anything? And I said, yeah, but if you guys want to pay for it, we'll take a free, parking lot. So I guess I'm not sure why we're offering to do a parking lot that I'm not opposed to. I think it could benefit, but why we're just saying, we came up with the idea. You're gonna bet a lot of folks are saying the school and the school athletics are going to benefit by far the most. And that this isn't a partnership, that we didn't approach them and say, let's partner on this and the cost and everything else. So I understand where your opinion is, where you are on the issue, but one of the things that I was going to bring up tonight is that I think we need to have the ambassadors meeting again, and that's where we can have that separately, that discussion. But these are the kind of things that I think would be good to get some feedback from the public on not only this, but a multitude of other things we have going on. Before we go and start spending hundreds of thousands, in some cases millions of dollars. So I don't know if this is time sensitive for some reason, or if we can discuss this as part of the bigger discussion of where is Miami Township going to invest our taxpayers' dollars. And so that's just, when I hear from the school, and again, I'm not talking about random folks that I just run across at Sprinkles or whatever else. I'm talking about school administration, school board members. That was their feedback. And Mr. Brett, you could correct me if I'm misrepresenting anything that they said, but I don't know why we would not approach them and say, let's partner on this. Instead of just saying, here you go.
Or you have any comments? This is just for the public market, this is just for easement, correct? It's just for the easement agreement, and, yeah, we haven't voted to put it out to bid yet, it's just for the easement agreement. It's giving Jim approval, to negotiate and get us, from our attorney to work with the school and get us some.
We're spending, if I may, a lot of money on legal fees and all that and moving forward with this. And the only reason, yes, we could undo it, but the only reason to spend that additional fees and to go through this step is if it's the intention of the board it sends a clear message to the school district and school board that that's what you plan to do. I respect and appreciate your question.
You got anything to move this one? All right, I have something. So on the parking lot itself, those are all opinions, is what you're saying, Mike. So the parking lot itself, so everyone's aware, originally we planned the parking lot with the amphitheater. And the amphitheater, the parking lot, we still need the parking lot, whether the amphitheater goes in or it doesn't go in. We have multiple people that use our park to go to baseball games at our big baseball field right there and the other baseball field on Lakers Field too. We have multiple people. This gives people handicap access. It's a 40 or 50 lot parking lot.
Yes, I think
55. The land is coming to us from the township being not donated from the school. They still own it. That's where the easement comes in. So we're not being charged anything for the land. We're paying for the parking lot itself and for more access to the park, whether we build the amphitheater, whether we don't. But for our residents to go to the park and have enough more ample parking and be closer to the concession stand, especially the elderly people, the handicapped people. That's why we're putting it in. That's why I'm going to take this. So, do you have any questions? All right.
So will all the spaces be marked handicap?
No. I'm not saying it's all going to be handicapped. It's going to be more feasible access to our park with handicap and for people that aren't handicapped. So it gives them an alternative from a wheelchair or either crutches or whatever it is, all the way from the parking lot over to those two fields and the dog park. That's what it does.
But you're saying that the school is giving up this space. Right now, it's nothing that's there, right?
Yeah, it's an open area that butts up to our park, and then the school is several hundred yards away from us.
Correct.
So we're not building it for the school.
Okay.
Now, that's your opinion.
But I share the
whoever else you
opinion.
talk to, which, I don't know, but do they practice, only practice over there? Will they use that? Well, sure, it'll get used. But we're not building it for that. We're building it for our residents to access our park. That's the ultimate goal in this, and access to amphitheater if we go forward with it. Right, any discussion? I'm gonna make a motion that we go ahead and give Administrator Jim Brett the, execute temporary construction and public parking easement agreement with Three Rivers Local School District. Second.
Mr. Robinson,
Ms. abstain.
Mr. Lance,
Yes.
and Mr. Fuller.
Yeah.
All right, next on our agenda, and I realize you got this late, so I put it for consideration or approval. We've been talking about having a written purchasing procurement policy. And surprisingly, as I was checking around with other folks to see what they had, very few people actually have a written policy, so. I've been asked to share this with Center for Local Government once we finalize ours, so they can share it with other people. So, I'll entertain questions, and if it's too soon, I understand we can do it next month.
I would prefer to read it, so, yeah, I would too. I would too. Let's just table it.
That's fine.
Let's do that.
Yeah, I would just say I appreciate your efforts. I know you reached out to a lot of other entities and jurisdictions and organizations to try to pull this together. So thank you for doing that. But I agree with my colleagues. You know, after all the discussion we've had on this, and make sure we get the break.
Certainly agree on it, yeah. Next is summer meeting schedule. My understanding that it's somewhat common to not hold the first Wednesday meeting in the summer months of June, July, and August. So it's on your agenda for your consideration.
Yeah, any discussion from the board? Yeah, and I will be out the first week of June. So if we need to call a meeting, we can give notice, 24-hour notice, and then notify the individuals that I notified that's requested to be notified. So I'll make a motion that we go ahead and do away with summer, the first Wednesday of the month of June, July, and August. Second.
So I would like to weigh in. We've gotten some brief on from some say residents, not being consistent with our meetings previously. That you know, we advertise the website on the newsletter, all that other stuff. And so I don't know if we should keep the meetings, but then cancel them if we don't have anything significant and time sensitive. And do that with appropriate notice, as opposed to, I know in the past, we would cancel meetings and then we would end up scheduling special meetings. And then we would get some pushback, and I don't disagree with the time and patient concept of special meetings. So I'm not looking to have meetings just to have meetings and waste everyone's time, especially during the summer months. But I also don't want to get in the habit of canceling these meetings and then have 3, 4, 5 different special meetings throughout the summer at times where the public can't attend or whatever else.
I think my only thought on that was if we cancel these now, they're out there, even though.
By law, all we have to do is give 24-hour notice, correct?
That's correct, although I will say I prefer 48.
Okay.
Well,
24 is the legal minimum.
So I'll remake my motion again. I'll make a motion that we go ahead and cancel the meetings for June, July, and August, and that's only beginning of the month. We'll still keep ours, third Wednesday of the month, because we will need a regular time here at 6 p.m.
I'll second.
And I would just say, I hope we don't end up having a bunch of special meetings.
Okay. Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Bland,
Yes.
and Mr. Fuller.
Yes.
And now sadly, we just discussed that, we had to extend our bid period on the Whispering Farm Field chap wall. Because we had a geotech question that we had to get out to everybody and the time frame didn't allow for everybody to get the information. I originally thought we could do that at the first June meeting, but hoping we could get bids in by May 24th. If we could beat that date on the Friday. And, that way we can get that project out and going. We've just kind of run into a spring that's been tough for contractors. So getting in line, I think is important for that, the sooner the better on that. So up to you on that date, that time, or another alternative, or if you want to wait and take that at some time in the future.
So we could do the 24th. Are you available? Mr. Ross?
Wait, I don't, what time are you talking?
Oh, that's what we're trying to discuss with Mr. Woolright.
I would like to have till noon to accept the bids, an hour to review them, so anytime after 1 o'clock.
So we could do 3, 4, 5. I would not be available. 3:30. At 3:30, or I can be here by. Okay. 3:30.
Well. Again, I didn't know what time you guys were talking about that. Again, especially for even special meetings. Depending on the nature of it, I want to try to make it to where the public can attend if they have day jobs and everything else. So
We're only gonna have one thing on the agenda. One thing. It was pretty cool. That's it.
just in general, I think.
We're doing it so we can move this project. And Mr. Brett gave them a specific date to have those turned in.
Okay, I mean, can that be? I just, a Friday at 3:30 is just feels like,
And just because we're gonna accept it until that time doesn't mean we have to act on them that day at that time. Like, I mean, I can just open them and you can meet anytime.
Oh, we could meet that Friday, Tim's available on the.
and we meet the following week when it's, I mean, I don't know how. If anything would happen between a Friday and a Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever, the next week, I just don't think it's good practice for this board unless that's necessary, and that's the only time we can possibly meet. I think we should try our best to meet at 5 o'clock or later on a Monday through Thursday. Jim,
And again, we have one thing on the agenda, one thing.
yes.
Stan, you're opening the bids on the 24th, right?
Correct.
You don't take any action. You don't even have to all be there. It's still you should be there.
No, well,
That's
they're-
what I was
they're
getting
saying
ready.
Then you get a date that's conducive to what you're looking for.
I know.
But they're saying they like,
So,
what Dan is saying, I think, is that he'd like to accept,
Okay.
review and accept those that same day.
so let's just, we can make it. All right, let's move forward to 24th at 3:30.
Clean motion.
Then I'll make that a motion.
Robinson,
I will abstain again.
Mr. Clinton.
Yes.
Mr. Hall. All right, thank you. So we've taken care of the other, streets requests that came in late. So we're down to public comment.
All right. If anybody from the public wants to come up and state your name and we'll do the best to answer your questions. Anybody? Mr. Morlock?
Hello, my name's Barry Moorline, 5612 Gumroad Road. I'm going to address this to both parties, the fire and the board. I'm a little confused on the fire truck purchase situation that we did approximately 2 years ago. Did we buy one truck?
Two.
We bought two.
Two in the pipe.
We just.
There's two in the pipeline.
Yeah.
And with that being said, if I understand correctly, at the May 1st meeting, there was a proposal on the board to approve up to $250,000 additional dollars for additional improvements or adjustments to one of the vehicles. Is that correct?
Correct.
Which vehicle is it?
It's the big ladder, right, the big ladder truck that we downsized a little bit to just make it junior.
And that was the next thing. I've heard rumors, I'll call them rumors, but I don't know if it's true, that we had a truck purchased that was actually too large for some of our roads. So I guess when you arrived, you looked at this situation and made the decision to make the truck smaller, or that was done before you arrived?
No, so I took a look at it once I got here. I even spoke with my staff at length about, and Mr. Brett about, what this truck was, how big it was, how it, the training that would take for it to actually operate, wasn't go down, like a couple of grades out the bottom. It was just a really big truck, not made for, at least my vision as a fire chief moving forward on just responding to everyday calls with that truck.
And how should I say it? If we're downsizing the vehicle, why are we adding 250,000?
That's just patient costs.
So the vehicle's smaller, but I thought we agreed to a price 2 years ago that they were gonna build this unit for X amount of dollars. So the unit is going to be smaller, but the price is increasing $250,000 up to that. Am I listening to this right?
So if you were to buy the same truck that was ordered 2 years ago today, it'd be $2.1 million. Right? So the inflation over 3 years, they average 4%, right? So where's that 12% over the last 3 years? So to do a change order on a fire truck like that costs money. So even the truck that we got with the change order is more effective, more efficient. The ladder, it's a ladder truck, right? The ladder truck itself, the ladder on top of it is actually longer than the other one, right? The actual footprint of the actual truck as far as length to be able to get down our roads and stuff is what is shorter. The truck itself will be much more effective and efficient for the entire community being able to do other things.
So over 2 years, they never started this vehicle to be able to make these changes? In the building of it.
I don't know if it's the exact unit, it might be a different truck.
Yeah.
Or is it just adjustments to that?
It'll be on a different chassis.
Right.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And then me as a individual from this township, it seems like 90% of our needs right now in expenses is going to the fire department. Trust me, I don't know if it's where it needs to go. I'm taking your advice that that's where we need to go. But in the other sense, it kind of scares me that we haven't had that good fire. And we're making some serious adjustments to get it to where we all think it needs to be. Am I right about this?
Yes.
Let's be honest.
Yes. That's fine.
And I support the fire department. I really, really do. The wages, buddy, I agree with you. I think they need to get up there. But we need to convince the community or this levy is never going to pass. So what I'm, in my mind, common math is we're asking for 6.5 mils. All right? 3.5 and we're adding 3 for 5 years. So is this taking us to 2029?
It's 29, so.
5 years from 24 to 29, well,
I
we gotta be.
I agree, but it's got 27 on there with the adjustments.
It will cover employee salaries through 27.
So after that, things that were shifting in those first couple of years to the general fund, or from the general fund to the fire fund, we'll have to shift it back to the general fund. Or we'll have to make another adjustment, hopefully, and we'll see some increase in property values, some new building, some new development in the tip area, and we'll have some more income at that time. So, but I can't too.
And that'll get us to 2029.
I'm hoping, yeah, well, yeah, it'll just have to, but that's what our levy's gonna be on. And, so we just have to make choices. Do we spend money here, or do we spend it on the fire department, or do we go there? There's gonna be some tough choices, especially when, if they tear down the, power plant.
And if I understand correctly right now, the benefits that go to our firefighters is paid out of our general fund. I'm asking, am I right? Am I wrong?
I think it goes from, without the man and to.
General fund and tip money.
But we are trying to eliminate the money coming from the general fund and the fire to be self-sufficient. Is that how I should say it? Is that what we're looking for?
You know, self-sufficient on salary, it won't be self-sufficient on everything.
Well, you say the equipment comes out of the tip fund, right? So that the trucks and all that comes out of the tip fund. So if the trucks are coming out of the tip fund, why are we asking for $250,000 up to your, is that money coming out of the tip fund for this truck?
That'll come out of the tip fund.
Okay.
It's just so that as the chief made change orders, I could approve those up to that, so we didn't have to come back for every change order as they're building the truck. Just to help speed things up, so we didn't have to wait a month to get it approved.
So basically, we're gonna renew our 3.5 mil levy that is current. It doesn't seem to me like we voted on this 5 years ago. Did we just approve the fire levy 2 years ago? 3 years ago? Has it been that long? So, and we're gonna add additional 3. Well, good luck. I think we gotta do some serious educating, and I don't think anybody in this room knows how to do it. Because there's nobody in here from the public.
Yeah, we definitely gotta get the word out. We're gonna have to put
We're
together
gonna
a
have to do
committee.
something because.
We're gonna have to have public hearings, and, or you're right, it's not gonna pass. So we're definitely.
That's
gonna have to
shocking, and everything is going up, we all know that. The gasoline pump, food, the kids' clothes. It's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be very tough. But I just kind of, the resident here, to think that kind of our fire department, I think, was up here. Maybe it really wasn't. Maybe we were down here and we're trying to get it up here. We've got a beautiful firehouse. 2 of them, here and the last one. But do we really have the qualified staff? I really don't think we feel we do right now, because we've got to get the wages up to get the qualified staff to get it to stay. And if I heard you correctly, we're going to give these guys $4 to $5 an hour increase. All right, from 19 to 24 part-time. And that's a substantial increase, but if that's what it takes, I guess that's what it takes. But I'm saying that we're going to have to educate the public, or it's not going to go.
Well, with that being said, though, with the Jim Brett's recommendation and the chief's recommendation, we're just trying to be competitive.
I agree.
With that approval of that. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be competitive where we can still attract people. We're $5 more than anybody else in Western Hamilton County. We're not going to get it.
I agree, but do you honestly, do we have less employees now than we had 2 to 3 years ago in our fire department? On payroll.
I can't tell you. 'Cause I
We have,
don't know that.
we have less part-time active people than when I got here 6 months ago.
So our staffing has dropped. We're in a panic mode. And we need to get people in here. The way to do that's with wage increases. That's common sense.
I wouldn't call it panic mode.
Well, I do.
But
If you can't staff a firehouse and have to shut it down, which we've done, let's be honest, we've closed the police the new one down there a couple of times, haven't we, in the last year because we weren't staffed properly? Maybe not while you were here.
Since I've been here.
It's been closed a couple days, or not many, but
It's, you know, it's a problem with neighboring communities too. Blacks, brownouts, stations is, nothing anybody wants to do. And, I will say, because I'm familiar with Whitewater, they raised the part-time rate there and went from getting one or so applicants every 6 months to getting a flow of applicants in. This will put us in competition with them. And you know, a lot of these people that we're going to attract part-time are potential full-time people that we can train and develop. So getting a good part-time people in here is a benefit to me. I don't want to speak to the chief, but
that's all I got.
I think we're heading in the right direction.
Right, Chief, we appreciate it. Thank you. Anybody, anything else for the public? All right, we'll go to the board, Mr. Robertson.
So first, I'd like to thank Megan for your time here and appreciate all your efforts in various departments. Tomorrow is the CAP meeting, I believe. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. On Friday, the 17th is Police Memorial downtown, and so just want to shout out, appreciate all of our first responders and the service that they provide. Saturday, May 18th is open house that Tram is holding down at the town hall. So plan on being down there and appreciate all the work that Tram does in our community. Obviously, we've talked about summer concerts and movie nights. So all that is coming up and we've promoted that, started promoting those on social media more. I am going to propose again, this is somewhat redundant from what we've been talking about, but I think that we need to have another investors meeting. I think that meeting needs to be held. And instead of being more informative from the township side out, I think that we need to be more in listening. So I believe that we have roundabouts, corridors down the Dog Tribe, amphitheaters, expansions of West Park, Buffalo Ridge Parks, all kinds of things on our plate that we're considering. And we just talked about the library coming and the informational meeting that they had. And I think that we're about to spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And I think that I personally want to hear, and I hope that the board wants to hear input from our citizens as to how we're going to prioritize all of those things. So I know in the past, it's again been more, let's inform them of what's going on, to much more of let's hear from them. And so I did check with Ms. Rovers, and she said that June the 5th, which is one of the days we just canceled, June the 12th is available. Those are Wednesdays, just because we're typically meeting on Wednesdays. I figured I'd check with those on those first, but if the board wants to look at other dates, we certainly can. But I just looked in a month out and asked for Wednesdays. Obviously, we would have our meeting on the 19th. So unless we want to do something before that or whatever, but I think it's important to do that. And I think to Mr. Moorline's point, we should start introducing the idea of these levies. And it's only June, but it doesn't hurt to start getting the word out about some of these levies. So, and letting people vent, letting people be heard. And I would propose having one in June and then circling back and having another one maybe in early September, which is right before early voting starts, where we can utilize that format again and really get the word out and let people know about these levies. So that's something that I wanted to propose and is an important priority for me to engage with the public, but I'm happy to hear the board has any thoughts.
I think it's a fine idea. I would say you can't forget that, so maybe the 12th might be a good day to do that. Great. I'm okay with the twelve also, but I will make this comment too. We can announce our projects, what we're working on, but the projects you're talking about, West Park Extension, and we've been planning that for, I know, 3 or 4 or 5 years, all worked on in a couple of years, retaining the land we own. We have the land, while we're extending the park. We've already voted with Bear, or voted to hire Bear Becker. And I just talked to Mark Rosenberger, so at that meeting, I'll be prepared to answer questions if they have it, but we are moving forward. I'm planning on moving forward with that. Now, whether you vote for it, Mr. Bullrat votes for it, that's another question. But we're moving forward with that. We have already had a committee. We've had 2 meetings. I just talked to Mark about it again, and we're picking it up. He's looking where our next step as a township and what we have to do. And we're trying to move forward with that. And we're trying to extend that park and extend the walking trail and everything inside there. We have some wonderful ideas from the committee. Mark's incorporated into the plan. We'll bring it before the board once we figure out where we're at on it, what the next step is. And then, but I'm just being upfront about it. My plan is to move forward with that project. So we can get input from the public. I'm fine with that. But we have a committee giving us input already. And I honestly don't think we need more input from the public. If anyone's willing to comment on it or wants to come and sit in on it, that's fine. They can do that, give input on it. But I'm just letting you know, I'm planning on moving forward with that project as soon as I get an answer back from Mr. Rosen.
So you're saying you're willing to accept input, but you've already made up your mind to move forward regardless.
The only input you're talking about is not doing the project, but we are doing it.
I didn't say anything about not doing the project.
Well, what else would there be? We retained that land. We, like I said, all worked on this 5 years ago.
I'm not,
been working on
I'm
it
glad
since
we
we
were taking the land, but what are we doing with it? That's where I want to,
We're extending my West Park.
with what? So shouldn't we hear from the public on that?
We've got a committee that we've heard.
And have you noticed those meetings where if anyone wanted to attend and?
No, I know, that's what the committee's.
Or if you have committee meetings, you're actually supposed to notice it. And so that you can attend, so if they want.
We already have 10 minutes.
From, and how many individuals?
There's 5 or 6. Mr. Board, one of them, trustee.
So we have 16,000 residents or so, give or take, in Miami Township. I think it's actually worse, it's the census, it might be 18,000 or so. And we have 5 or 6 members that have met twice. And I'm not discounting their input. I think that that's great, that they're willing to step up and be a part of it. But I'm saying let's get input from the public and open it up so that we can hear from anybody that wants to do this. You're saying that you had a committee that I've never heard of when meetings occurred, who's on the committee, other than you just saying Mr. Wolat, which is great, that made these decisions. And I'm saying I want to let them have input. You're saying, well, I already made up my mind. You can say it if you
So
want.
the board has to finally say.
Right, and I
I've
want
got to plan for a project. It doesn't happen in a month or 2 months. It takes years
right,
to
but
get this done.
this is going to cost a lot of money. And
That's correct. It is going to
we
be.
should have input from the public.
We have input
From more than 5 or 6 individuals. We have 16, 17, 18,000. Well, that
That's
is,
your opinion.
I'm going to continue to share.
That's fine, and I'll continue to share mine.
So I would love to hear from the public and would have an open mind to hear their thoughts without any predetermined my mind being made up. And I would love to hear. So I'd love to get that on the agenda.
All right, we're going with you as well. All right.
Have a motion to accept that.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept that. Let's take James Paul.
Second. Is this at 6 o'clock, possibly 6? Let's stick with the normal 6 o'clock.
Since
All right.
the 7.
And, we'll promote that and make sure people know what the agenda is and can show up prepared with comments, questions.
All right, Mr. Warren, just, if we round in here to the end of the month, we can just.
That needs a vote.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
So I seconded that.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Clayton.
Yes.
And Mr. Moore.
Yes. Okay.
And then my final thing, if I can, we still haven't dealt with this. I know the board approved for the contract, or approved the bid, amended proposed bid, for the fire hydrant painting, by Mr. Hughes. And then we received an email on April the 3rd from, a guy named Chad Brinson, who I had never met, heard of, or anything else, but he's sent the board, sent the administration an email that was passed on to the board. And he was questioning why he wasn't awarded the bid and why he didn't get the same opportunity and professional courtesy that it was extended to the company to rebid on services being offered to the township. So I've asked Mr. Brett about it, and he said he's not sure what to do with it, and ultimately we're gonna have to figure out what to do with that request.
I just answered that question before we came to the meeting. And the answer to that question was, Mr. Brett, you were directed by the board to, after we awarded the first batch to Mr. Hughes, put that back out to bid each year for those 4 individual companies. Is that not correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So we decided to do, 200, was it 200 a year or
168 this year.
That's right. And then, so it wasn't 168. I thought it was
187.
That sounds right.
Okay, yeah, I think that's right.
I'd be more than happy to talk to Chad too. You know, I mean, if there's a working relationship there, make that guy happy. I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, I'm willing to
We're gonna take.
cross that bridge too.
That's fine. That's
So,
wonderful. We're gonna take bids, and we directed Mr. Brett already. We've already been down this road several times.
But it doesn't.
Mr. Benson's email was questioning this current set of hydrants that were given. When I did contact him after that, he said his opinion was what might be fair is if we gave 187 to Mr. Hughes, give him 187, and then rebid it the upcoming year and look at their works, consider that was their bid, and move on. But that would be a fair method. We could do it actually slightly cheaper. So, but
And I'm concerned if we just blow him up until next year and say, okay, I'm sorry, if we tell him, wait a year and we'll circle back and talk to you in a year. Based on his email, like Mr. Brett just explained, did not seem very pleased, and I doubt that he is just going to say, let's just talk another year. And I'm concerned about opening the township up to potential liability or anything, because he is saying that, again, he wasn't afforded the same opportunity. And so I don't know if he's going to make an issue out of that or not, but that concerns me.
We'll just move along. We'll take it. We'll come back to it. Mr. Laura, with 8 o'clock, we're gonna be with. You know. We're taking.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure Tim got a chance to
Oh, I'm sorry.
weigh in and he had anything to say.
Yeah.
I gotta speak on that. I know you guys are busy and gotta go to something, but
We're
talking about fair.
It's okay, go ahead.
you talk about him worried about litigation and being fair about things. Think about how many times I've been back here arguing and fighting with you guys about different things, about getting stuff in processes and procedures in place that you shouldn't just be worried about him and appeasing this fella. That's why I said if he wants to work together, maybe there could be some kind of type of where we could work together. But I've never once threw a threat out about, well, the way I've been treated, the way I feel I've been treated about jobs and this and that. But I'm in the same boat as that guy right there with the different work and everything that's going on and been awarded. I've sat here in that chair talking to that gentleman right there, wanting to know why work's being awarded. Or it's the same thing. So, I mean, I feel that guy's pain, and like I said, I'm not here to piss and moan again, but it's real. It's real. So, I mean, I'm gonna watch that closely to see where we go, because we still don't have anything in place. I know you just got it tonight, but I sat on it and I emailed you guys and said, I'll wait, give you guys time. I mean, it's been over a month since, but it's been really years. So it just keeps getting tabled. Again, boom, kick.
I think the table, we did the table, when we went to read this, we just received it before we approved it. And that's
Right, and I get that, we're seeing it
We're
just now,
crazy if we don't.
but good lord. I've been pissing and moaning for 2 years. So it doesn't seem like anything changes. And now hearing that's got my interest big time.
And one thing I got, Memorial Day coming up on the 27th. Second year of the parade. They'll approve the building. Mayor Brooks for his support on that. And I'm looking forward to a fun day down there. It'll start at the actual parade kicks off at 9:30, goes down right down the center of Cleves there. Goes over to Maple Brook Cemetery, ends up back in the Legion. Everyone's invited for grill out and do some camaraderie. So, anybody knows any veterans? We're short on people in March. Hope they have the all right, I'll make that motion that we go into session, meet with regular school board to consider the persons for lease of real property. B, just about, we don't need to address.
No, I think let everybody know that there will not be coming now.
All right. And I'll make that a motion.
I'll second. Yes.
Yes.
Take care.
All right, we're back from executive session.
Need a motion to return.
Motion to return. Make a motion to return from executive session.
I'll second.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Blaine,
Yes.
Mr. Beauregard. It is 9:19.
Is there any more further business for the board from Mr. Robertson, Mr. Bullrat, or not from myself? All right, motion to adjourn. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
And Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Blaine? Yes. Mr. Beauregard?
Yes.